Welcome to another episode of the CarryTrainer Higher Line podcast. Hey guys, good morning or good afternoon or good evening. I don't know when the heck you're listening to this. It's morning for us. This is Mickey with CarryTrainer, and this is another episode of the Higher Line podcast. We've got our buddy TJ Kirgin back with us. TJ is the owner of Tactical Shit. You're out of St. Louis area, right?
Yeah, it's been so long since I did a podcast that it's weird hearing tactical shit actually said out loud. I've been doing radio shows lately, and you always have to dance around the actual name of the company. But yeah, we're in St. Louis, Missouri, with stores now in Orlando and Clearwater.
Okay, yeah. I know you just opened something like that, and you guys are a emporium of everything Second Amendment related: guns, ammo, camping, hunting gear.
It's a tactical orgy of goods.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's basically, we started the company because there were, somebody said I needed to be in the gun business. And I was like, I don't need to be in the gun business. I'm in the marketing business. I love marketing. And they said, well, you need to market guns, MFer, because that's all you ever talk about. And I immediately fired back. There's a gun shop on every corner in America. What I really need to market is tactical shit. They said, what's that? I said, well, it's everything you put on the gun. It's what you put in the gun. It's what you put the gun in. It's what you wear when you're shooting the gun. It's all the other stuff. And most gun shops don't get it. They have some of it, but what we try to do is we try to be like a Macy's, or like you said, an emporium, where we bring it all together. We curate all the best products. And when we do it, we try to do it. And, we only bring in stuff that we consider good, better, or best. The good stuff obviously is the cheaper stuff. Like, let's say Holosun, right? I think Holosun is a good optic. I would use it. I trust it. But obviously EOTech, in my opinion, is better. Right.
Sure.
And then, we can debate all day about which is the best, but we try to have a good, better, best selection with no bullshit.
So you're not selling the $69 red dot. You've got the lower end of the good stuff up to the creme de la creme stuff.
I don't want to be called a liar. We do have NC Star on our website. Okay. However, if anybody ever markets it, they will be fired.
So literally, that is some tactical shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And NC Star is the bottom of the bag. But, we found that it's amazing how many people actually buy that stuff. We never talk about it. We never market it. Matter of fact, that's the first time I think I've ever mentioned it out loud. But we sell hundreds of thousands of dollars a year worth of it. I think it's a dirty little secret. It's like, some guy, if somebody's looking for a Picatinny rail piece, they're like, okay, I know it's Chinese shit, but whatever.
Yeah, people assume, okay, I can just put this on the thing I'm going to use once in a while and it'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
Till it falls off in the snow, and then they're pissed. So you've got Circle Bar behind you. For people that haven't been to Las Vegas, or in this instance, SHOT Show, Circle Bar is kind of like the meetup at SHOT Show. And I wanted to bring you on because you put a social media post up the other day, basically telling the gun community of people, let's boycott SHOT Show in Las Vegas and force the NSSF to bring it back to Florida. Talk about that.
Well, so it's not my idea. I was actually contacted by several major brands in the industry, all contacted me separately, all asking me, what are you hearing about SHOT Show? Should we cancel? Are you going? And everybody said the same thing. They just came out of a show, and I don't remember what the show is that just happened last weekend. If I tried to say what it was, I'd be completely full of shit. But it was an industry show, and they were saying things like that they were hearing of major corporations pulling out of SHOT Show. It made the news 2 weeks ago that Sig Sauer backed out of the show. And that's huge because Sig Sauer is reportedly the biggest booth at SHOT Show. And they backed out. And I think a lot of people think that there's going to be a domino effect where just tons of other people start backing out. And then what do you have left? if all the big guys back out. So I've heard that Magpul's going to pull out. Now that's just a rumor. I didn't hear that from them, but I'm hearing it from other people that are of their size, in their ilk, if you will. And so there's a lot of people thinking about pulling out. And I think, and it's all over the mask mandates. US Night Vision, they pulled out. They're the probably the biggest night vision company there. They're like, how the hell can we sell night vision to people wearing a mask? The rule was going to be that nobody could actually put the night vision on, because you might get COVID from one eyeball to the next or whatever. And so I got to thinking about it, and I was like, well, you know what? There's no way to stop this SHOT Show, right? I'm not calling for a boycott of SHOT Shows so much because I may go. Like right now, I've got my tickets are booked, my hotel is booked. I'm signed up for Industry Range Day, and I'm looking forward to shooting some guns. I mean, that's really what I go out there for. I go to SHOT Show to shoot guns and to hang out with my friends. It's like a giant industry family reunion every year, and we didn't have one last year, so it's going to be even more ridiculous with the bro hugs and whatnot, and all the COVID spreading at the Circle Bar. But I'm still up in the air as to whether I'm going to go. But what I'm basically saying is, I think everybody should pull out, and in doing so, basically send the NSSF a message. The reason that they're having to mandate masks is because of Nevada, right? So it's Nevada law right now that if you're in a trade show indoors, you have to wear a mask. People in our industry don't want to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're done with that bullshit.
I'm not going out there if I have to wear a mask.
Exactly. I will not, and I'm making the same commitment. If I'm going to have to wear a mask, I'm not going. And it says right on their website, you have to wear a mask. Now, when I look at the SEMA show, before we did the podcast here, I decided to go check out SEMA because I'd heard that nobody at SEMA is wearing masks. Okay. And, people are saying, why can the car industry not wear masks and the gun industry is going to be forced to wear a mask? Is this like the way we're being targeted on social media? We're now being targeted at trade shows, and so what I did was I did a search of SEMA show, hashtag SEMA show on Instagram. And then I zoomed in on any pictures I could find of throngs of people. And it's a mixed bag. There's a lot of pictures of people not wearing masks. And then in some videos and pictures, there's a couple people wearing masks, kind of like, okay, if you want to wear a mask, fine, but not everybody's doing it. And then in the SEMA show is open video. I don't know who shot it, but if you freeze frame that video, there's 1 million people in it and everybody's wearing a mask. So I really don't know what's going on at SEMA. I heard at this last trade show, masks were required, but everybody ignored it. And after about 2 or 3 days of hearing, hey, you need to put your mask on, hey, you need to put your mask on, the trade show people finally realized they weren't going to win that battle with the gun industry, and they just stopped asking. Is that what's going to happen in Vegas? Is that what's going on at SEMA? I don't know. But if I have to wear a mask, I'm not going. And I think we should make it hurt for the NSSF and make them realize that they need to pull out of Nevada to make it hurt for Nevada. Right. And where should we take SHOT Show? Well, it's obvious. Florida, Ron DeSantis, Florida. It's basically, people ask me, why am I putting so many stores in Florida? Because I believe that's where the final stand's going to be. I mean, it's the last bastion of freedom. They got big boy rules down there. If a company tries to make you wear a mask in Florida, they get a $5,000 fine. I think that's amazing. And Orlando is actually where the SHOT Show used to be. Mm-hmm. Now, I never went to SHOT Show in Orlando because I've only been in the industry for, since 2013, I think. Obama thrust me into the industry. But before that, it was evidently in Orlando. Now, they left Orlando because they needed bigger, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm quite positive Orlando can handle SHOT Show. And I guarantee you, DeSantis and the Florida government would welcome SHOT Show and welcome the gun industry with open arms. And I think it would probably just crush the attendance of the Vegas show, after a few years. I think what you're going to see in Vegas, if they keep doing this, and if things don't change, you're just going to see SHOT Show wither away and die.
Do you think in this modern age that this dated concept of trade shows is something that we even need anymore. I mean, like I don't need a business card anymore. I don't need to give you my business card, right? Like these certain models, like you're a marketing guy. People that don't know you are also law enforcement for years and years, but you've got a flair for marketing. There's things that we tend to not have to do anymore. Things change, times change, the modes of communication change. Do we still need a show where thousands of people cram into a building and mill about like farm animals for a couple days?
I don't think we need it. I think that the world would work just fine without it. I think as an industry, it's good to actually press flesh and to be able to shake hands or, fist bump or whatever we're doing these days. I mean, I'm kind of glad we're not shaking hands anymore, because every year I went to SHOT Show, it was a 50-50 shot as to whether I was going to get the SHOT Show crud. And I really do believe that COVID actually didn't start in Wuhan. I think it started right here at the Circle Bar in 2020. But do we need them? No. Because companies can get their products out to influencers, and they can get their products on social media. But now social media, the reach is killed, and the algorithms are against us. The social media ownerships are against us. And so I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think we need it, but I think it's still good to be able to present your product in person, have somebody physically touch it and see it, and be able to then create content for social media about it. In my opinion, that's what SEMA's about. That's what SHOT Show's about. It's about the media coming in and playing with the product. And it's about the buyers coming in and playing with the product. SHOT Show is not open to the public. You have to be either media, which you have to basically, give up your third born son to prove that you're media. It took us almost 2 years to do it. Or you have to be a buyer, meaning you have to actually work for a bona fide company, and your job is to buy stuff in order to sell it to other people. And so I think it's good to get those products in those hands. But if you actually can't touch it, because they're afraid of your germs getting on the gun, well, then there's no point in it. It's good to get your hands on it. I think that buyers and media need to be able to touch the product, be able to actually physically use it, aim that scope, use that night vision, manipulate that action. But if they won't let us touch this stuff, I know last year before SHOT Show was canceled, they said we couldn't touch the guns. We couldn't touch the night vision. We could only look at it. And in that case, no. I mean, there's absolutely no reason to even be there.
Right. The interesting thing is, like you said, send NSSF a message. We're all friends, aren't we? Are you a member of NSSF, by the way? Is your company?
I am, yes.
I mean, the whole point, I think a lot of people maybe don't understand NSSF as an organization that's meant to promote the shooting sports, right? And proliferate like the greater good of the shooting community, be it defensive or sporting or hunting. Why don't they get it? Why don't you think that their board doesn't get it, or the management?
Oh, let's not sugarcoat it. The NSSF is just a giant media company. They're the king of all media when it comes to the gun industry. So they are the B2B media, and they also create tons of business to consumer content, safety content, and gun knowledge content, training content. But they're everything's about profit. It's, they're not, it's just like the NRA. They're all about making money. And SHOT Show is their golden goose. That's where they make the most money every year. I mean, I don't know how much money SHOT Show brings in, but I'm sure it's easily Googleable, and it's probably in the hundreds of millions. I mean, it's got to be huge, or at least tens of millions. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that make a lot of money from the SHOT Show being in Vegas, including Vegas itself.
That bar right there.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many millions of dollars I've spent right here on, vodkas and club sodas and the occasional water the next day.
Right. So you're saying it's just money driven. That's a good spot to do it. Maybe that's not, I should rephrase that. You didn't say that's exactly it, but that usually is the motivation. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? The organization, and I agree with what you said, the organization came together to sell guns, sell gear with the intention of promoting good practices and safety and all that good stuff. If they go to Florida, where do you think they should go?
Oh, Orlando. I mean, Orlando is basically Florida's Vegas. It's not quite as raunchy, obviously, because it's a little bit more kid oriented with Disney World and whatnot. But I think Orlando has the hotels. Orlando has the convention center. Orlando has the space. Orlando has the ranges. There's tons of great shooting ranges. The USPSA Nationals are typically like 30, 45 minutes from Orlando every year. I think you have a decently pro-gun atmosphere in Florida. It's not, it's maybe 51, 52% of the government people are pro-gun. You have very pro-gun laws. And you don't have this ridiculous COVID control communist mandate bullshit.
Is there a location in Orlando that you've checked out?
Not necessarily. I mean,
No.
the Orlando, I believe that the Orlando has a huge convention center. There's tons of big conventions in Orlando every year. Another good place would be Tampa. Tampa has Tampa has a huge convention center, tons of hotels.
Burns Steakhouse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and Tampa has they have the tactical show every year. You got SOCOM right there. So Orlando or Tampa, I think, or both. I mean, they're 2 hours apart from each other. You could easily have the show spread out across half the state.
That's true. I've heard people the last, 2, 3, 4, 5 years talk about starting something different. Like I know the NRA has their show. There's the outdoor show. USCCA has built up a fairly large show that the public can go to. Have you thought about doing any of that yourself? The Tactical Shit Show?
The shit show. It's funny because that's what we call our programming around SHOT Show every year is the Tactical Shit Show. Not really. I kind of stay in my lane. There's all kinds of ways to make money out there, but I'm not one of these guys that just goes and does everything all at once and whatnot. I think it would take way more than my capabilities to put together a really good show, and especially anything that could even hold a candle to SHOT Show or the NRA show or something like that. Kind of let those guys do what they do. There's, like you said, there's a ton of them out there right now. The NRA show is the best thing about the NRA show is the fact that the public can go and the fact that they move it around to different cities every year, so that somebody somewhere gets to go and experience that. Although it seems like they play favorites, like they're bouncing around between Tennessee and Indiana and St. Louis, and just 3 or 4 cities every year.
You find a place where you make it work, and there is some logistics that are easier. Same with SHOT Show.
Yeah,
you start to figure out how to move around that space that big. It's beneficial for the people.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, SHOT Show is so big that it is impossible for you to see the whole show in 6 days.
Yeah.
You would have, I think the math is you have to spend 15 seconds at each booth.
Yeah, I have definitely every time I'm out there, it's more meeting you or whoever. I don't really ever have any time. I might be jogging across the floor and see something. Oh shit, I want to see what that is real quick, and stop and take a picture or something so I can look it up later. But yeah, it's almost comical, the amount of stuff that's there. It's nuts.
I typically bring a team So I bring 10 guys total, probably including myself, as well as a handler for me. You know, a handler is basically that person that when you're talking to me and I'm giving you a morale patch or a challenge coin or something, that they're like, TJ, we have to be at the next booth in 5 minutes. You know, they're the ones that break me free from, you know, the constant conversations. But I take 10 people with me and we break up into teams. A couple camera guys, and we basically spread out. We come up with a plan at the show. You know, you're hitting this and we're hitting that, and we're in this room and you're in that room, and we're going to meet back here. And, you know, it's very, very strategic how we do it so that we can try to cover the whole show as a media and simultaneously find all the coolest new shit to buy and bring to market in the next year. But I'll tell you what, I think the biggest eye opener. So, you know, has SHOT Show helped me? Yeah. Have I made tons and tons of money because of the relationships that I've made at SHOT Show, the human connections? Absolutely. If I never go to another SHOT Show again, the 8 or 9 SHOT Shows I went to in a row will still pay dividends for years because of the human relationships. But I don't think I need to go ever again. Like if it never happened again, like going back to what you were saying, I don't think anybody would be hurt by it. Mm-hmm. There'd be a whole lot more advertising money to pay the influencers if they weren't paying, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars or $50,000 for a SHOT Show booth and $25,000 to build the booth and all the employees and the airfare and the $3,000 per hotel room per employee for the week. You know, it adds up. Most of these companies are paying 6 figures just to be there. Yeah. You know, just to show their shit for a couple of days. Which is crazy in a lot of ways. I like what some folks are doing. My friends from CCW Safe down in Oklahoma City, because of No SHOT Show last year, they put on a really nice couple-day event for like 20 close guys that they work with, and flew everybody down. We had a couple nice dinners, a couple nice breakfasts, went out to the range, and it wasn't really like training. It was just and having fun. And, you know, guys like you and I, we like to because we spend so much time training and being serious. Sometimes it's cool just to drive the car, you know, just to shoot the gun. Yeah, exactly. It was fun. It was like, hey, check this thing out. You know, like just threw it around, and then we put the guns away and got liquored and, you know, told dick jokes. And what I appreciated about it was we got the FaceTime with people that we care about, but then there wasn't I'm exhausted after flying out to Vegas, which I fly all the time, so that's not so much it, but you sleep very little, you drink way too much, and of course those are all choices, but if you're going to make good use of the short window, you're burning it, and then you go home with a freaking rare illness, like you said. So I feel there's like sometimes these smaller things people are doing is kind of a nice option. That might be the way of the future. I mean, wouldn't it be cool if, you know, if more smaller, quaint events were put on by groups in the industry that are in geographically similar locations, you know, rather than just having it all at once in one place in a giant mass. You know, I mean, some guys have been doing it right. So you've got the Iraq vet, you know, he's got his big shoot every year. I haven't been there, but I've heard good things about it. You know, there's all these different shoots in Texas and whatnot where the companies come together. One of my favorites is Texas Range Day every spring. You know, it's by invitation only, and the public can't come. So boo-hoo. But we go out. We create tons of content, and we have an absolute ball, and we actually get to play with the products, you know, that's you know, I can't tell you how much respect I gained for like Cobalt Kinetics at that event. You know, not only, you know, okay, so you're a sponsor of the event, big deal, but I actually began to respect their guns at that event because I actually got to shoot them all day long, and I was like, wow, these things are seeing them in pictures. Yeah, this is next level stuff. Yeah, my friends from Alpha Munitions, they're a super high-end brass maker. They did an event this summer that we were part of. We helped host it out by us, and they had like 10 companies that are all top
makers of parts in the long range shooting community. And that was great. Out at a private location with somebody cooking us meals. Nobody had to leave and could just shoot the stuff, talk about it. Engineers were there. Why is this made like this? Crap that would take a person a lifetime to research, where guys were just sitting commiserating. And on top of it, because of that closeness, people were talking about like product ideas and actually saying, hey, call me next Monday. Let's figure out how to design that thing that would have never come about if it wasn't for that like couple days, rather than just the fist bump, patch handoff, and the adios. It was like where the conversations kept going and flowing over time. Like that I think is so valuable.
Yeah. So what are we saying here? We're saying, on one hand, if you're going to keep doing SHOT Show, I think we should basically somehow get the message, the leverage, the pressure to the NSSF to move it to a gun-friendly state, just move it to Florida. I'm all about moving it to Florida, and that's the message I want to get across. But simultaneously, you and I are like, but you know what? It could completely go away and we'd be fine with it, because then all these companies could have all that marketing money to do boutique event, smaller events, stuff where you can actually go use the products, enjoy the camaraderie, and not be in a throng of 60,000 people, and ended up with, pneumonia for the next 2 weeks.
I was so sick. I was so sick one time after, I had COVID, and I was so sick one time after SHOT Show a handful of years ago that it was way worse than having COVID.
Oh, absolutely.
I was screwed up for a month and a half. I did not feel right.
So the last shot, it was always 50-50 for me. It seemed like every other year I'd end up getting the SHOT Show crud, and that's what everybody called it, right?
Yeah.
Because they could never put a finger on what you had. You had a whole bunch of stuff, and it tried to kill you, But the last SHOT Show was January of 2020. If you remember, COVID became a thing in like March, right? Mm-hmm. The 15 days to slow the spread, right? And so I came home from SHOT Show in January. It was probably the 28th. So it was really the end of January, early February. This is a month and a half before COVID was supposedly everywhere. And I got sicker than I've ever been in my life. I literally thought I was going to die. I had 104-degree fever for days that wouldn't go away. If I took Advil, it got worse. And I'm like, this isn't right. And it was very respiratory. And then finally I lived through it, obviously. But, a month later, they're talking about COVID, this new thing coming out of Wuhan. I'm like, well, I probably just had it, Now, of course, I took the antibody test later because I thought, maybe I was, patient number one. I got it right here at the Circle Bar. But they said I didn't have the antibodies. So I have not had COVID. To my knowledge. I don't get tested when I get a sniffle, but I also have O positive blood, and I've only met one person so far in the last year and a half that had COVID that had O positive blood. So
interesting. I'm O negative. I have read a little bit about the O type bloods and COVID.
Evidently, you can still get it, but it for O people, it's not nearly as bad.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
At least that's what people at Harvard are saying, but who believes them?
Idiots. Maybe we should do a local show. We're only 5 hours apart. Some type of local event, stripper poles.
Well, you're up in Chicago, so we could have like drive-by demonstrations and stuff.
Drive-by demos, yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, I was thinking more somewhere in between.
Well, the only problem is everything in between Chicago and St. Louis is Illinois. And that's Illinois true. Is, not exactly a pro-gun state. I mean, you are behind enemy lines.
Yeah, we're like 50-50 but yeah, it's not the most amazing place. Somewhere in between, like Springfield.
Yeah,
would be nice. Yeah,
it would be nice.
We should figure that out. So change of topic real quick. So you're because you're so connected to the end product sales. What the heck's going on with the the supply chain of things like ammunition, firearms? I'm sure you're asked this constantly. What's your take as a guy that has millions of dollars?
I have a really, really good fundamental understanding of the ammunition crisis. Fortunately for me and for my company, we were able to utilize the ammunition supply chain crisis to become one of the top ammunition sellers in the country. We were able to stay ammo in stock for the last 18 months. Now it comes and goes, but we were able to keep it flowing and still are. And because of that, I'm dealing with people in Serbia, the Ukraine, Israel, Turkey. We tried to deal with some guys at Belarus. Who knew that was on the ATF's no-go list? But anyway, we get to kind of experience it at the high level and see what's going on from the components and whatnot. So ammunition crisis is explained like this. You have 9.3 million first-time gun buyers in 2021, mostly minorities, women, LGBTQ, whatever. And they went out and bought their first gun, right? Now, since then, it's more like 11.5 million, right? Because it keeps going. And so all these, let's call it, I'm going to get my calculator out here just for the demonstration purpose. So in 2021, we have 9.3 million first-time gun buyers. What do they buy? Typically, they bought a 9mm, right? Isn't that what you recommend to most people when they say, what should I get to protect myself? It's typically a 9mm, depending on what you're protecting yourself, where you're protecting yourself at. So it might have been an AR-15 if they're protecting themselves from zombies, that sort of thing.
I'm going to start recommending like 45 long Colt and like 357
Sig. Please do. So we have 9.3 million people go out and buy a 9mm. And so what do you buy when you buy your first gun? You buy 3 boxes of ammunition, right? You buy a holster. You buy maybe a red dot. You buy a bag to put it in. You buy some gun oil and a cleaning kit. And so let's just go back to the ammunition. So there's 50 rounds in most boxes of ammunition. In Full Metal Jacket, it's 50, and Hollow Points is 20. We'll use the 50. So 3 times 50 is 150. 9.3 million times 150 is 1.395 billion rounds of 9mm that were basically bought by first-time gun buyers during 2021. So that puts an extreme demand on that particular caliber, pressures the inventories of the United States. Almost all ammunition in the U.S. is made by Vista, right? Vista Outdoors. It really is a monopoly. They own everybody. They own Blazer, they own Federal, they own Remington, they own yada, you name it. And so all of that American-made or American-sourced ammunition gets sucked out of the market by the first-time gun buyers, which puts pressure on inventory, which causes shortages, right? And what happens when there's a shortage? Oh, shit, I need toilet paper. There's no toilet paper. I need to go buy all the toilet paper I can find.
Right.
So all the guys that already had thousands of rounds of ammo in their safe or their range bag ran out and bought more because, oh my God, it's the apocalypse. I need more ammunition. And so you have demand by first-time gun buyers, exponentiated by panic buying and hoarding. Right. And at the same time, what was interesting to learn was that there's only like 3 primer manufacturers in the world that actually make the little bitty primer that goes in the back of the case. And 2 of them, only one of them is in the United States. Okay. 2 of them, one's in Italy and one's in Germany. And during COVID, even still now, those factories were shut down for months. Right? Months. And every time somebody gets a sniffle at one of those factories in Italy, they shut the factory down for like 30 days. So literally they open back up and then they close back down and they open back up. And so a bullet is made with a projectile, powder, casing, and primer. The primer is where the problem began. Right? So there's a huge shortage of primers. There still is today. If you're just ask your buddy that reloads 9mm in his basement, that guy that hates his wife or his life, whichever. And, he just reloads and reloads and reloads. He can't get no primers.
Yeah.
That was a double negative. He can't get no. Can you tell him from St. Louis?
Get no.
He can't get no satisfaction because he can't get no primers. And so because of the primer shortage, there was literally now you got everybody that wants to make 9 to fill the need, can't. Now, on top of that, The guys that did have the primers, they stopped all their production of all the other stuff. The 45 Long Colt, the 40, the 45 ACP, 380. Find me 380 somewhere. You can't. Okay. All that shit got stopped in order to retool their lines and make 9 and 5.56 and 2.23. Right. And so the reason you have shortages right now of things like 30-30 and 30-06 and 6.5 Creedmoor and 380 is because nobody's been making it for the last 18 months because they're too busy making money making 9mm. Now, with that being said, you have 9mm is now kind of everywhere. The market is becoming flush with it. As of today, we're selling 9 on our website at shop.tacticalshit.com at 33 cents.
Wow.
Which is the cheapest I've seen it in probably 2 years. Maybe 20 months.
Is that brass or steel case?
That's brass, full metal jacket.
Okay.
You know, we're selling made in America Blackwater ammunition for about 39 cents. Turkish, all the Turkish ammo. Turkey really cornered the market on ammo in the United States. Just about every brand you've never heard of that you see advertised all the time is Turkish. But right now we're actually selling PPU. I'm not even sure where they're from, but PPU is good shit. And we're selling it at 33 cents. But
how fast does that stuff ship when somebody places an order?
Well, right now, today, the way we do it, you know, we start selling the ammo as soon as we have the BOL and we know it's on its way to us.
Okay.
And so if it comes through port and goes through customs and gets put on a tractor trailer to St. Louis, we start selling it that day. So right now, they shipped us that stuff Friday. We started selling it Friday. It'll arrive Monday or Tuesday. It'll probably ship Tuesday or Wednesday. So we're on 9. It's typically about a week to turnaround. All the stuff that we have in stock in the warehouse is only 2 to 3 days. But the ammo crisis got worse about 2 months ago. And during that time, everybody, ourselves included, got caught up in huge supply chain issues and backlogs that we're still reeling from today. So on top of all those things I talked about, the Biden administration decided to smack Putin's pee-pee and also hurt the gun industry and the gun owners in America at the same time by adding sanctions to an original existing sanction on Russia to ban the future importation of Russian ammunition. Basically, they said, we're not going to approve any new permits after this date. Now, a lot of people panicked, the AK owners, the guys that shoot these beautiful Comstock rifles, they freaked out because, oh my God, it's another Russian ammo ban. And so there's this huge run. It was August 25th. We sold $2.5 million worth of AK ammo basically in the next 24 to 48 hours. Wow. And that caused a huge bottleneck. It's starting to catch up now. The price of 7.62 went through the roof. Now it's coming back down because people realized that it's a ban on future permits, but the permits that exist already with some big distributors that already bring in Tula and Barnaul, which is 40% of the American ammunition market, by the way, Russian ammo. The guys that have the permits, those permits are sometimes good for up to 5 years. So
you're thinking new president, new administration.
Yeah, and we already know that the Russians are they're going to move their tooling. They're going to move it to the Ukraine. They're going to move it to other places. They're going to spin up production here in the United States. We've already heard that Kalashnikov is making their own 7.62x39 outside of Russia to basically take the market share from Tula, as they can.
Wow. Yeah, that's the part people message me constantly. They're like, we're never going to have AK ammo again. It's like, all right, take it easy. Like people will figure out how to produce this stuff and get it to us. There's no way that capitalism is going to just not feed the beast of all the people that want to spend their hard-earned pennies.
As long as there's enough AKs out there, you are absolutely correct. The problem is for the guy like me that likes the 5.45, I'm a big AK-74 guy. I actually compete with one. And 545, like nobody makes it but the Russians, right?
Mhm.
Because nobody uses it but the Russians. It's not a NATO round. And so the 545 is the one ammunition that probably is the most scary with the Russian ammo ban, because nobody's going to make it in the US because there's not enough guys that have 74s, in order to create the demand.
I don't have one.
I suggest hoarding 545.
Okay.
Another ammo that's almost impossible to find right now, and if anybody knows where I could get some, let me know, is 5.7.
Really?
Everybody's making 5.7s, and nobody can get any ammo for it.
A friend of mine called me the other day that is going on an elk hunt. He was looking for like 7mm, and just like regular like 7mm Remington. And I'm like, you can't find that? Like, I haven't looked at anything like that. And then what you just said makes sense now. All that stuff hasn't been produced. So he's like, I just need a box of 50 so I can go get an elk. I don't have any. But yeah, that's nuts. What's interesting is it's such a self-fulfilling problem that we have. It's like the toilet paper. Everybody, these assholes out here getting toilet paper, and you go look in the back of that dude's minivan and there's 8 cases of toilet paper. Or like, these assholes buying ammo. Hey man, any place I can buy 10 cases of ammo? And so nobody wants to admit that they're part of the panic buying, and yet here they are. I've got a friend that's in the import-export business, is in the firearm side of things, and they had people requesting like not just pallets but containers of like 9-ball. One of them was a group of doctors. They bought like a container of just hardball 9 and dropped it at their ranch somewhere out in Texas or Utah or something like that. Now they've got however many millions of rounds of 9 going there, and they paid like 3 times the normal rate for it.
So many people got caught with their PP out on that. I almost did. I mean, we bought 2 containers of 5.56 M193 ball from Igman in Turkey, and we paid about $500,000 down in February, and then we paid another $500,000 to execute the deal and get it shipped to us in June. Due to whatever problems that they had over there, it didn't even get on a boat until October. So we had $1 million out. We locked in the pricing in February. It arrives here in October. But fortunately, when it got here, we were still able to sell it at the lowest price in the country. It's all gone already. 2 million rounds in 30 days.
Make some.
And we were able to make about 10%. Okay. But think about that. I invested $1 million over a period of like 6 or 8 months, only to make 10%. That's an absolute failure. Now, other guys, they get the ammo, it lands here. They're like, hey, I'll just use old school pricing. I'm only gonna, I need 50 cents a round for this, and you go to AmmoSeek, and it's like the lowest guy in the country is selling at 42, and this guy wants to sell you his container at 50. It's like, no. Right. And then they decide to hold on to it. There's a lot of guys that are holding on to containers of ammo, waiting for the next crisis. And there will be one, but it might be a few years from now. And pricing, I don't think will ever go back to normal, but I think it'll get close.
I think it will too. I hear people say we're screwed, but then I chuckle about all the times I've watched this happen over the years. Mm-hmm. Now, I also know, just knowing guys, that I have several friends that are in the business of making components, and they are raising their costs.
Oh yeah, brass is up, primers up, powder's up. You can't find 9mm powder anywhere right now. Powder is the next shortage.
Yeah, there's a lot of bottlenecks.
Yeah,
there's a lot of bottlenecks. What else? What else have you been learning through since the last time we talked about all the stuff going on in the world? What's new from your perspective? What's coming down the pike? What should people be paying attention to in the world around them?
Man, there's a lot to think about right there. If we're talking about in the gun industry, the good news is there's guns. The guns are finally back in stock everywhere. The gun sales have gone to shit, basically. The gun sales are nowhere near where they were when the riots were happening and the world was burning. Mm-hmm. So gun availability is there. Prices of guns are coming down. It's no longer impossible to find a Glock 19, that sort of thing. As far as gear, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out. Prices are coming down on really cool stuff like night vision technology, thermal technology, IR technology.
Coming down in general, or coming down from a COVID spike?
Coming down in general. I think your elite level operator, tier 1 technology, your D-balls and your AT peels and your PVS 14s in green or white phosphor or Harris 5032s, your thermals from Pulsar and, all these different companies. The prices, those are becoming more ascertainable with a little less Skrilla.
Okay. Why is that? Just because the technology's been around for a while now?
Yeah, I think so. As the military starts to graduate on to other things, this stuff becomes yesterday's technology, and it becomes more affordable. Like we're seeing, I forget what it's called, the Navy SEAL night vision with the 4 goggles. Now you can actually get those. It used to be those were unobtainium. Now you can get them. You got to have about $30,000 to get them, but they used to be like 50, and you just couldn't get them. So from that level on down to like a PVS 14, you could get a PVS 14 green night vision monocular. You could get a Blimp tube, and as long as you're not some night vision nerd where you got to have perfect everything, you can get one of those for like $2,000.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That ain't bad at all.
It's pretty cheap to own the night.
Yeah, I'm more of like a lever action, sit by a campfire, relax, strum my acoustic guitar kind of guy. I don't need all that stuff. I mean, it's cool. I've done hog hunting with that, and I don't geek out. Yeah, like take that pup, and you're going duck hunting today, aren't you?
I was actually yesterday. I think I might go duck hunting this afternoon. I kind of go when I feel like it, but we killed 3 of them yesterday.
What kind?
2. We widgeon hen and 2 pintail hens.
Okay. You're right on the flyway there.
Oh yeah, right on the Mississippi and Missouri confluence.
Are you guys hunting in like a flooded farm field or in the woods?
Yeah, flooded corn and mallow. Yeah.
Okay. Very, very good.
Yeah.
I haven't duck hunted in a handful of years. I'd like to get back out. Is it your property, or are you out like on a lease?
No, I have 2 clubs that I hunt at. One is some friend of mine's. It's a private club. We call it Fat Mallard Farm, and fat spelled with a PH. And then I hunt another club called Silver, which is actually owned by a bank I do business with.
Okay.
I only do business with banks that like shooting guns. And they are out there.
How does somebody find a bank that likes shooting guns? Is that a Google search?
I don't think so. The way I found it was, I'm the gun guy, right? And so my friends in business would always invite me to gun things. And so there was one bank that I deal with that would always, every year, they'd have a trap shoot. And they would invite their bank customers to the trap shoot, trap, skeet, sporting clays. And then this other bank, they bought a duck hunting club, and they take their customers, duck hunting. And so I hear about these things through the grapevine, and you can assume that if a bank is sponsoring or endorsing or providing a gun experience to their customers, that their board of directors are at least pro-gun. Mm-hmm. And so that's, I don't deal with any of these big national banks or any of that, because they are the exact opposite.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. That's become like a big problem for people in businesses like ours, the banking side of things. I've met a handful of guys. I was up in Michigan speaking at a Second Amendment event up there at their Capitol couple months back, and I met a gentleman, I forget the name of his company, but they do credit card processing. Like their main customer would be you or me, somebody that is afraid of, not afraid, but has been chastised by the banking community or been.
I'm pretty afraid, honestly.
It is.
You know,
scary,
if you've ever had $50,000 or more held by a bank because you're selling guns or ammunition or whatever, it's pretty scary, honestly. And you know, and credit card companies, ever since Obama started Operation Choke Point, it's been just like social media. It's just like the trade show thing, like we discussed. Everything is against our industry, including banking, you know, and so you know, it's a challenge to find pro-gun merchant service companies. You might find a pro-gun merchant service provider, but the banks that ultimately run the, you know, provide the banking, you know, they're the ones that you got to worry about.
You mentioned social media and people that don't know you. You've had how many like Facebook, YouTube accounts just shut down on you?
Oh man. Yeah, they say I'm the guy that can't be canceled. I just keep popping back up like whack-a-mole. We had over 100,000 subscribers to our YouTube channel, over 800 videos, years and years of work creating humorous content and serious content for the industry. That was stripped from us by YouTube and Google about 2 years ago. Never got it back. And now I just don't care. I don't do anything on YouTube anymore. I'm not going to rebuild that. You know, it's just too much work. And its heydays over. You know, it's still great. I mean, the guys that are doing YouTube right are doing it right. Facebook, you know, we had millions of fans on Facebook, owned 14 Facebook pages. And we lost our Facebook account. I think we've counted now 12 times. The last time was the most significant. They took away all our pages. Everybody that was ever an admin on the page, including Jacqueline Carrizosa, Tony Pignato from STI, anybody that's ever contributed to the page by being an admin or a moderator, their accounts were deleted. You know, my wife's account was deleted. My son's account was deleted. And everybody that worked for our company, all of the Tactical Shit employees lost their Facebook accounts. I mean, that's pretty hardcore. That's, you know,
it's insane to think about.
Yeah. And then, you know, there is some pro-gun back channel former Facebook engineers that you can work with to kind of work that back end to get it back. And we did get it back. You know, we eventually got our Facebook back, but it's so shadow banned that it's almost a waste of time.
Employees and people that you mentioned get their accounts back?
All but one, I think. It was my son. We could never get his account back.
And then Instagram's done the same thing to you, right?
Yep, Instagram. Right now, our Tactical Shit main Instagram account, which is typically at Tactical SHT, 385,000 fans. It's gone again. And the last time it was gone for 5 months. You know, so it cost us tons and tons of money in lost marketing opportunity, the loss of the ability to reach our fan base. And the problem with it's kind of, I see it with everybody. You know, it used to be when you got banned, everybody in the industry rallied around you and, you know, follow their backup page and,
I know where you're going with this.
And it's like the kid who screamed wolf, you know, the 12th or 13th time it's happened. It's like, yeah, Tactical Shit's gone again. You know? And so growing a backup page is next to impossible. You know, like I think our backup page right now, Tac Shit Official, has like, I don't know, 10,000 followers or something like that. And when we got our page back the last time, 5-6 months ago, it's been gone now about 3 weeks. The last time we got it back, it was funny because all of our fans, they're like, oh my God, we haven't seen your post in so long. They had no idea we were gone. You know, they just thought that we were being throttled by the algorithm, that they just weren't seeing our content. And so that's what the social medias have done, is they've taken away the ability for us to mobilize our own troops, you know, and to really reach enough of our fan base at any given time with any given media to counter their attacks on us. And it's not just social media. I can't use Venmo. People are like, hey, Venmo me, I'm buying tickets to the ball game or something. Hey, Venmo me $100. I can't. I'm not allowed to use Venmo. Hey, will you PayPal me this? I can't. I'm not allowed to use PayPal. You know, they've banned me from their platform because I'm a bad person, because I sell guns, gun parts, ammunition, tactical gear, and on social media, I don't hold anything back, and I say it as I see it.
I had a couple of guys that attended a class, and one of them legally purchased a couple cases of ammo, and was splitting it with his friend. And so his friend like Google paid him, and in there wrote like
ammo.
He wrote the dough for ammo, and he's banned from freaking Google. His Gmail account, his Google pictures of his family and all that, just poof. And it's it is freaking insanity. I was looking at Mike Levy from Knockout Lights on Instagram shared something today where Instagram told him, due to your repeated violations.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm looking at it, and you look at what it's being shared, it was nothing. I mean, like, you sometimes, like I use vulgarity. You sometimes will post like stuff that is more like comical or like, just flippant. And I do the same thing, but then you see somebody that's got something that's like a photograph of something. It's nothing crazy. It's not bloody. It's not lewd or anything like that. And his stuff's getting taken down. My friends from Alpha Munitions right now, they post nothing. They post like images of like engineering diagrams of bullet cases and stuff, like just geeky shooting stuff. And they're right now had their account frozen. I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing compared to some of the stuff that you see.
It's an all-out attack on our industry and our culture. Mm-hmm. I always do the quotes when I say the gun community, because there's, if there is a gun community, it's not a very nice community.
I'm with you. Are you interested in or using apps like Parler or these other apps that have been popping up to kind of fill the void?
I'll be honest. Now, this speaks to the size of my operation, but I'm pretty sure we have all those pages, and I'm pretty sure we're actively posting content on them on a daily basis. Do I see any traffic from them? No. Would I have to ask my social media team if we were still doing it to answer your question? Yeah. I think the problem with conservative media, conservative social media, is like Parler. You remember Parler before they shut it down? I don't think anybody wants to be on a social media that has just one thought, one frame of mind. I don't want to look at nothing but gun content all day. I don't want to look at nothing but pro-Trump content all day. I like to see the real world. I like I like some guns. I like some cars. I like muscle cars and supercars. I like fast boats. I like big boobs. That's what my social media feed looks like. But you go to these other, Parler and all these other things, and it's just nothing but anti-liberal, pro-Trump gun content. And it's like, okay, that's cool. I agree with all that stuff, but I'm looking for more. And so I think that's hopefully Trump's new platform that I'm hearing so much about, evidently doing really well publicly, like in the trading, like its values going up. Hopefully that'll be a real social media, not just a giant liberals.com,
Yeah, because if that's the case, it'll just be what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, but we're using all those. We're just not seeing much from it. I'll tell you what, our big thing right now, because of the death of social media, is email. Every day I feel slightly dirty because of how much email we send. I mean, our customers probably get 3, sometimes 4 emails a day. The beautiful thing is we don't see mass unsubscription from it. People like the content we send. We always try to send content that's, hot new products, great prices, stuff that you haven't seen in a while that just came back in stock. The kind of emails that you're not mad about getting.
Sure.
And we send about 50 million emails a month, which cost a shitload of money. But it's basically, we grew those emails over years of social media. And now, we got about 2 million people that get our emails every day. And that's how we continue to grow our business and our market share. But we're seeing pressure on that. It's been going on for a long time. I would challenge you, if you're watching this podcast, listening to this podcast, if you are a gun guy, I guarantee you get gun emails. You know, if you've ever subscribed to or tried to win a contest or something, you're getting gun emails from somebody. Go in your spam filter and scroll through your spam filter, and you will see all of your favorite brands.
Yeah.
You know, because the ISPs, the email service providers, the Gmail, the Hotmail, the AOL, those guys are all anti-gun too, and they're doing their damnedest to throw that gun content right into the spam folder.
I've got a buddy that kind of specializes in circumnavigating that junk through, and I'm not techie enough, and I'm sure your people are all savvy on it, but you click on the URL and it goes here, there, and everywhere before it ends up in your inbox, so that it doesn't flag the people you're talking about. And it's such a circle jerk, especially when I can Google and look at some chick donkey or two nuns getting shit on by a priest, which is legitimately, you can Google that and you will see it. I can freely have access to that, but not a guy target shooting with a bow or something like that. It's bizarre.
It's funny you said that, because while I was duck hunting yesterday, I made a comment that, you know, as I get older, my porn gets weirder. And then one of my buddies, you know, made some snide remark about it. And I said, well, you know what? I should make a t-shirt and it should say, banned from Pornhub for violating community standards. Just think about that. Does Pornhub ever ban anybody? No.
Right.
You have to do some really.
Yeah. And I think that says a lot about, it's not the content we're jujudging. We're judging the people's political ideologies, really, and their religious ideologies. And the end of the day, who do you want to be your neighbor? The guy that's filming some dude shitting on a couple broads' faces, or the guy that's teaching his kids to hunt deer and have a respect and a reverence for the Constitution? Who do you want to be your neighbor? I mean, maybe both, but it's a weird chastisement of good people.
Yeah. It's just proof that evil is in charge.
It is in a lot of ways, and I think people like you and me and others need to keep pushing back against it for certain. You look at what just happened, you know, here's an interesting thing. I think you guys listening, folks, look at what just happened in the Virginia governor's race, and people say, oh, you know, their governorship flipped because of the pushback on Biden. But then you look there, I think there's only ever been one governor in Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia's history, that had 2 terms. Every year their governorship flips. So like, we in this community of people, your air quotes, we like are pretty weak in our ability to parse information and get facts and like get a broad understanding of what's going on in the world. We just look and like regurgitate and spew in this echo chamber the same bullshit. So you look at what's going on in Virginia, like I said, and people immediately have this narrative, but nobody goes and does like basic research. I think that's important.
Yeah, an echo chamber is the best way to explain it. You know, that's why I started doing a radio show. You know, how do people hear that? If you're in Missouri, you can hear it on a bunch of different stations. In St. Louis, it's 93.3 FM.
So can you check it out online? Could somebody log into a website to stream it?
Yeah, that's realtalk933.com. And there's my show's on every Saturday at 11. So actually I'm going to be on the air in about 45 minutes.
And what do you talk about on the show?
My show is called Shots Fired. It's the same podcast I've done for years, but it's evolved. We used to just really do like Monday morning quarterbacking of shootings that are affected, that are in the news, national shootings, active shooters, the Vegas shooting, whatever. But now we broadened it. We talk basically what you and I are talking about with less industry spin, Second Amendment news. We talk a lot about training, because there's 10 or 11 million first-time gun buyers out there, and many of them are women. We talk about how women can carry guns comfortably, what kind of guns women should carry. We talk about clearing your house and how to do it safely. And we talk about the importance of training. how carrying a gun might be your right, but getting training is your responsibility as a good human being, as a good community member, right? We talk about how much fun training can be. We talk about jujitsu. We don't just talk about guns. We talk about all kinds of stuff. But it's basically.
How does somebody hear this? What would be the website that they would stream it at? It sounds like a great thing for folks to check out.
Well, so we're on all streaming channels. If you just search Tactical Shit Shots Fired, like on Google Podcasts or iTunes Podcasts or iHeartRadio. Yeah, there's a couple shows out there called Shots Fired, but you'll see our logo. You'll recognize the Gun Spartan. You can find it there, or you can find it at tacticalshit.com. There's a podcast link in the upper right-hand corner, or you could go to Real Talk 933 and listen to it there. They have an app and a podcast you can listen to on the website, I believe.
And people can visit the website for the stores. How do they get there?
Shop.tacticalshit.com. So if you just Google Tactical Shit, you'll find us.
And these stores you can go to as well.
You're talking about my brick and mortar stores? Yeah. I've got one in St. Louis, which is right on Highway 70 in St. Peter's, just west of St. Louis on your way to Kansas City. You can't miss it. And then we've got a store in Orlando. So if you're in Florida and Orlando, going to the next SHOT Show, hopefully, you can stop by. Oh my God, I'm starting to show my alternative or my ulterior motive. I have a store in Orlando and I want SHOT Show to be in Orlando.
Yeah, now everybody understand what's up.
I'll just open a store in Vegas, and it is whatever. But in Orlando, we are inside Machine Gun America. It's like a pop-up store. It's like a mall version of Tactical Shit. So if you go to Machine Gun America and you want to shoot machine guns while your wife and kids are at Disney World, or you want to bring your wife and kids to shoot the machine guns, our store is inside the Machine Gun America building in Kissimmee, just minutes from Disney. And then we are opening a store right now. We are actually there open. We're still working through permits with the city, but we're in Clearwater, which is just outside of Tampa, right across the bay from Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater. And that one's actually on 49th Street North in Largo is the actual town, right down the street from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department. And so we're planning on opening more stores. We're going to go to probably Fort Myer next, and then Pensacola, Destin, Miami, and Jacksonville before we're done.
Might you be moving to Florida?
I have a couple houses in Florida. Okay. I love Florida, but I don't want to move to Florida. I also love Missouri. I mean, Missouri is another. It's a good state to live in if you enjoy freedom and you love your country. Especially if you're outside of the cities. Kansas City and St. Louis City, they're typical liberal strongholds. St. Louis County is a cluster. I wouldn't put a business there if you paid me to. But, the rest of the state is an awesome place to live. It's beautiful. I like the seasons. But I will probably be spending more and more time in Florida, at least 1-2 weeks a month.
I like it. I like it there too. My wife and I, we were just there last week with some friends. So yeah, I enjoy it too. I think it's a good move putting those places down there.
Yeah.
People are moving there in droves.
Oh, it's 1,000 people a day move into Florida because of DeSantis. I've always loved Florida, but when DeSantis told Joe Biden to and hung up on him, I was like, okay, you're my hero. And that hopefully, though, all the Californians and the Canadians that are moving into Florida don't ruin it like they ruin everything else.
Mm-hmm. Damn Californian Canadians. I was just up in Montana and I met a Canadian that was bitching about the Californians, and I'm watching my Montana people looking at him like, hey, Kettle, like, what the and he's like, oh, I've been coming here longer than them, though. Yes, that's pretty standard. Hey, I appreciate you jumping on and chatting, covering some of these topics. People got your website. What can folks do to make some good in the world around them? Leave us with something on that.
Well, I think I'm big about creating sheepdogs, right? So, yes, it's your right to carry a gun. You should carry one every day. You should carry one everywhere, even if the sign says not to, except for in federal buildings and jails and police departments. Don't do that. That's stupid. But not just carry a gun, be trained with it, be proficient with it. And when I say training, I'm not talking about shooting paper 3 yards away, 7 yards away. Actually go take simunition-based, scenario-based training where you can experience an adrenaline dump, where you can get, tunnel vision, where you can get loss of fine motor skills, where you can get loss of memory, where you can get heart palpitations and all that stuff, so that when the shit does hit the fan and you have you have to act to protect yourself, your family, or others, that you've been there before and you know what to do. And then, of course, keep training, especially not just on the physical aspects of jujitsu and handgun work and rifle work and all that, but also on the legal side. Just because you took training 5 years ago doesn't mean you know how your state's laws have changed. And you need to know how those laws work before you start taking action with a firearm. Otherwise, you're going to ruin your life.
I like it. I think all that stuff is spot on. And in this community of people, we oftentimes overestimate our abilities and skills, which is a good way to get yourself hurt, killed, or locked up.
Yeah, I like being humbled, and training does that on a regular basis if you have the right instructors.
Agree. I'm gonna go get beat up in about 20 minutes at the jiu-jitsu gym by my friend. So I 100% appreciate and agree with what you said. TJ, always a pleasure chatting with you, man. I'm gonna have to check out your radio show. That's cool. I dig it. I like that we're going backwards. Like next time I might call you on a landline. You're on the radio. I might actually go pull a newspaper ad for our business. Right.
You and I can do the next podcast on a pair of cups with a wax string between the two of them.
Right. Telegraph. You guys,
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Thank you. You know what? You should build a circle bar in your next build, and then we can just meet up at your store.
That's a great idea.
I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it is. I'm looking behind you. Like, why not? We should build a podcast setup with a circle bar.
Yeah, I like it.
Can you get a liquor license in your stores?
My wife says I can't, so I can't. We actually talked about that because we were going to sell Lead Slinger whiskey at Tactical Shit, right? Because we have Black Rifle Coffee. We have it's not just about guns. It's the whole thing, right? And my wife put her foot down. She said that we can absolutely not get a liquor license because we have mostly Marines that work for us, and Marines and whiskey and work don't go hand in hand.
Understood. So you got to get like a standalone building in the parking lot.
Yeah, like an old photo, one of those little bitty buildings out in the parking lot that you used to get your pictures, your photo mat.
Yes, exactly. We just push a couple Connexes together.
Yeah.
I like it. You guys that tuned in or watched here, go check out their social media that they have left. Do check out the website. Anything you can think of, he's got on that store. And if you are part of this community of people, think about reaching out to NSSF and letting them know, hey, we do not want to support this event in a place that we have to be mandated to do shit we don't believe in. That might not be your opinion, but I think you should appreciate the concept of liberty, and it is a double-edged sword that I think we must bear the brunt of together. Be well, don't be dickheads, tell somebody you love them, walk a higher line.
Visit our website, CarryTrainer.com, for information about classes held throughout the U.S., CarryTrainer apparel, and upcoming projects. You can also email us at training@CarryTrainer.com for information about setting up your own private course or speaking engagement. Training@CarryTrainer.com or CarryTrainer.com.
I said I got me some gunfighter gun law. Gunfighter gun law, baby. Gunfighter gun law. No more gunfighter blues. 100% synthetic, baby. So it's gonna last you longer. So go on CarryTrainer.com and order yourself some gunfighter gun or gunfighter lube to get rid of your gunfighter blues. I said go on and order yourself some gunfighter